Yep. Yep.
Definitely.
But the next thing in the news is they're thinking about changing raid lockouts. So for anybody that doesn't know, WillE has a great video. I'll try to link it here in the show notes for when this comes out. But it's of how each raid tier changed dramatically. It's a really good video because it goes in, we start out with 10s and 25 mans, then it goes into hard modes in Ulduar, then TOC goes to 25-man hard mode and normal, 10-man hard mode and normal, and then in ICC they did something with a buff. Yeah, he goes into it a lot more in detail, so we won't do that here, but I'll link it in the notes. But there's a lot of different changes. But for me specifically, I remember why I burnt out in Wrath, and it's because of the change they did in TOC. And this is what they're thinking about changing. TOC, it made sense to do all 4 raids. Normal 10, normal 25, heroic 10, heroic 20, 25, just for the sheer gear. Like, you got gear fast, and like it almost made it mandatory for the really good guilds. And I remember just being like, I don't want to be in this instance any longer. So they're thinking about making it to where heroic and normal share a cooldown, so you'd only be able to do 1 10-man and 1 25-man a week. And they've also talked about possibly making it to where you could do a hard mode, like you could choose on each boss to do hard mode or not.
Yeah, I feel like choosing on each boss is a little, like, I feel like you need to commit and pick one at the beginning. I don't know.
I think the whole hard mode idea with they'd have to really significantly change fights, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Even if it was going to be wonderful, it's too much effort to put in.
I was speaking of Scotty J and Rogs before, actually. Rogs brought some pretty good points about the whole 4 reset thing, and basically thought it was okay as is. Because he reckoned 10-man normal just isn't really relevant content for a very long time, so you're going to start skipping that out. And then between the other 3, it takes a few hours. Also, that he mentioned, if they did share a lockout, one of the best, loot-wise, one of the best things about Trial of the Crusader was the trinkets, which stacked between normal and heroic, which are super powerful in Abyss for a lot of people. And if they share lockouts, you'd have to specifically do normal just to try and get trinkets when you may be capable of doing heroic and getting better loot for everything else. And that's something fair. Which they've changed in ICC, so that trinkets don't stack between normal and heroic anymore.
Oh, so maybe they'd have to have that change in. But I mean, if we're on the last patch, that change might be in. They might not stack.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Blizzard historically have really liked doing stuff by the last patch because they say it's the most complete patch. It's, if the developers back in the day had the power, they would have chosen that patch. And the last patch says 10 and 25 normal and heroic share lockouts, and trinkets do not stack between both difficulties. So they may port both of those backwards, which will change things up.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like running the same raid 4 times a week, though, is just kind of tedious, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think then, and I think there might also be some merit to making people choose and having there just be like less gear available because of it, and having that be like an artificial way of increasing the difficulty moving through Wrath. Because if you can imagine how sweaty players have been already with like classic and classic vanilla and classic TBC, like we're going to go into Wrath and there's going to be guilds that do they'll do split runs of each one. So they'll probably have like between like one like 25-man raid roster, they're going to have everyone have 2 characters, and they're going to run 2 normal 10-mans, 2 normal 25s, 2 heroic 10-mans, 2 heroic 25s, all to gear up just like 25 characters. And that's that does not sound fun
for anybody, because there could be people listening to this that don't know what a split run is. It's where a guild splits up their main raiders, and then people's alts, or maybe even just other people in the guild, come in and don't roll on loot that any of the mains need. And so therefore it just gets them geared up a lot quicker. I'm sure most people know what splits are, but just in case, I thought I would explain it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just optimizing loot. It's like, imagine how many people these days in TBC want Dragon Spine Trophy. You're going to get that on all your melee, and it's going to be the same with the Trial of Crusader trinkets. People are going to be split running like mad to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. For me personally, I kind of like the change of having to choose heroic or normal. But it will definitely cause frustration for some guilds if they jump to heroic before they're actually ready. So that'll be kind of a bummer. That's why being able to change fight by fight would be kind of cool. Like, you know, you could be like, okay. Or just being able to change after you've already committed to heroic. Be like, all right, well, this isn't going to happen. We've got this far. Let's switch it back and just get the rest of the raid done or something like that.